You're watching R&M RBG TV.
You're watching R&M RBG TV. Real talk that you need to hear. Stay tuned.
This is Black Power, family. What's happening? It's your brother and governor I used to R&M. Tune into another episode of R&M RBG TV. A raw and uncut live talk we need to have. This is Black Power to all. Pardon me. You already know Black Love is a kiss for Black Nation. So let's get it. Today, I'm gonna try to be as brief as possible, but nonetheless, this is one of the things that gotta be discussed. So like I said, I'm gonna try to be as brief. But today, I want to talk on the so-called immigration reform. Right? If you tuned in to the news lately or whatever, throughout this Obama administration. Just a couple days ago, he did a speech on the immigration reform or whatever. And nonetheless, let's keep it 100. Once again, another speech made without us being mentioned. Right? Before I go any further, of course, like always, look in the description box. I'm gonna have a couple links. Check out the links. Read the articles. Holler back at me, feedback, talk it up, chop it up, you already know. But anyway, as we proceed, this immigration reform thing is rather tricky. If you look throughout the pages of history, then you'll understand what I'm about to say. America, right? We already know, those that know, and those that don't know. America is simply born and created, nonetheless, all for the blood, back, sweat, and tears of African people. History has proven this time and time again. With it being built off of our labor, off our backs, it was just that. We were, up until I want to say probably the last 5 to 7 years ago maybe, African people were the thriving labor force of this country. If it was built, we built it. If it was worked, we worked it. If it needed to be fixed, we fixed it. XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. Our hands, our feet, building, establishing, of course, for somebody else. We get it. As time has moved on, the year is now 2014. If you've noticed in your neighborhoods, wherever you are in this country, from here in New York to California to Texas, Detroit, your city, my city, they city, everybody's city, I'm pretty sure you've noticed that the hoods, the ghettos, where we live at, they're changing up. Besides the gentrification, besides the fixing up of the ghetto, nonetheless, for other folk. But I'm talking about more so an addition of people, nonetheless. I'm talking about Hispanic people. You feel what I'm saying? With this whole immigration reform thing or whatever, if you've been paying attention again, you've noticed that they've been talking a lot about the border. They're having issues, quote unquote, with the border. Nonetheless, it's keeping 100. The borders are wide the hell open. Again, the proof is, look in your different neighborhoods. You see who was there primarily, majority-wise, who is there now, creeping up. Again, Hispanics. African people here in America, again, as I stated before, were the main ones who basically not controlled the labor force, but we were the labor force nonetheless. It's not like that anymore. Times have changed. Politics have changed. The labor force is now in the hands of Hispanic people. Thus, the whole notion right now, as they call it, reform, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're reformatting the program. The program is who's going to man, who's going to control, who's going to work my land. That land being the United States of America. 3 Ks, don't get it twisted. African people, again, can't state it enough, built it, sustained it for a long time, That time has come to an end nonetheless. Let's keep it 100. We do not have the employment opportunities that we once had. We are not able to compete in the quote-unquote workforce, in the work world like we once were be able to before. That opportunity, those opportunities have now been outsourced to what American society will be considered foreigners. Well, if anybody knows the real foreigners to this land since 1492, or the Europeans, but that's a different topic for a different story. But nonetheless, we're being phased out. We're being phased out. I'm going to give you a perfect example. If anybody out there has ever worked in like the warehouse districts or whatever, and worked in like any type of warehouse job or whatever, you know about the term consolidation. Now in a warehouse, right, you have product already within your facility there. You have product that you're inquiring about, doing research on, and you also have product coming in, as well as product that needs to be shipped out, correct? That's how warehouses operate. Now let's put it in modern terms, or in reality terms. The warehouse, family, is the United States of America. The product that exists on the shelves currently, that's been sitting, collecting dust, broken up, abused, shorted out wires, XYZ, XYZ, are black people, African people, our people. We're on the shelves collecting dust in a bad shape. The American society, the upper echelons of this country, you feel what I'm saying? They've been doing their homework. They've noticed that over the years, who can basically take the pain nonetheless without making such a fuss. And that research has directed them toward Hispanic people. Let's keep it 100, family. Think about it. They work hard as hell. They work hard as hell for less money. They work hard as hell for less money, and they do not complain. They've taken note of this. It struck in their minds. They said, aha, that's going to be the next ones to man my land. Hence, the immigration reform. But in order to bring this new product in, which is the Hispanic people, the ones, again, I say they work hard, the ones that work hard for less money, the ones that work hard for less money and do not complain, this brand new product, nonetheless, in order to get them into the warehouse, we have to get that old raggedy product, that rusty broken down ass product, aka black Negro people here in the West, us, they got to get us out. Hence why we're dying out the way we are. Hence why the prison industrial complex is booming the way it is. Hence why the school educational system is dumbing down the children the way it does to lead them down the pipeline to the prison system if it doesn't kill them in the streets first. Also, to the point, on an economic level, again, we're not able to compete in commerce as we once were. We don't even have the chance to go into the damn interview how we used to because of this new reform. The new format of manning the land. Again, there's going to be links in the description box. There's about 3 of them I'm going to try to put up there. Guaranteed 2, but I'm trying to get 3 in there. Nonetheless, check out the links, read it for yourself, family. They've been working on this for quite some time. This is nothing new. They've been doing this for quite some time. Now, it just happens to be the time to execute the plan. And what greater plan, what greater time to execute the plan than in the so-called age of information? Black folks are starting to wake up. Black folks are starting to peep game. Black folks are starting to recognize the bullshit nonetheless. With that being said, it's nothing more than how back on the plantation days or whatever, when you had what they would call smart niggas. What did they do to the smart niggas? They killed them. They got rid of them because they didn't want them to influence the rest of the population, the rest of the Negro population. So again, these little things that's happening, I take that back. That's not little. These tragedies and atrocities that we're going through right now, they're fear tactics to keep us, quote unquote, subdued, to keep our minds trapped in fear. Thus, we cannot compete. Thus, with us not being able to compete, we're seen as lazy, shiftless, feeding off the system. They have to get rid of that. That's disturbing their program. Hence, immigration reform. It's not hard to peep the science, family, once you see the equation. The math is very simple, and you can add it up once again once you see the equation. They're trying to get rid of us. They don't need African folk no more. We cry too much. These are their thoughts. We cry too much. We want for everything. Don't want to do shit for our own damn self. They're tired of it. Let's keep it 100. The system of racism and white supremacy has grown tired of the Negro moocher. Yes, I said it. The Negro moocher. And the only reason why I said that is because we refuse to establish ourselves, to practice self-reliance and self-determination for our black nation. Everybody else does it. Thus, why the system of racism and white supremacy doesn't have any issues with anybody else. Because they're doing their thing for themselves, running themselves, holding themselves down. They're not getting anybody's way. They're not mooching off anybody's system. They're not crying and not trying. Us, on the other hand, we're the total opposite. We're doing all of that shit I just said, and I'm pretty sure some other stuff too. We have to halt that ASAP. Not for nobody else's benefit, but for our own benefit. Because it's only going to benefit us. We have been the benefit to many other peoples on this planet. We have failed to realize that. We are so naive to that fact. Because we're so dependent. We're very much dependent and not independent. Everybody else's dependency depends on us. Let that marinate. But nonetheless, like I said, according to their clock, according to their calendar, our time is up. So they got to get rid of us so that new program could come in. The new program could take place. Now, it's one or two things that has to be asked. One question, actually, two answers. What are you going to do is the question. The two answers is very simple. A, just let the shit happen. Let them whoop our ass all over again and just send us to a mass exodus to really nowhere. Yes, it all sounds romantic to say, oh, we can just pick up and go back to Africa. But let's keep it clear. Africa is probably more colonialized than over here in America. So with that being said, we leaving one, you feel what I'm saying? One oppressive regime for another oppressive regime. What sense does that make? Thus why we have to establish us. Because if we're going to go back home, when we're going to go back home, why are we going to go back empty-handed? Why are we going to go back carrying problems from here to another land? We need to establish ourselves, fix ourselves, heal ourselves so we can take ourselves back to our rightful thrones, which is Mother Africa. Like I said, this has been on my thoughts for a little bit. I've been wanting to put this out for a little bit, but I had some, little technical issues I had to deal with, little technical difficulties, whatever, nonetheless. But nonetheless, it's here. Nonetheless, listen to what I'm saying. Read the links. Read the articles. Read it for yourself. Look outside. Add everything up in the equation. Then you'll get your answer. Just let that marinate, yo. But in the meantime, between time, this has been another episode of R&M RBG TV. That raw and uncut talk. Common sense build. Like I said, you already know that we need to have. I am your brother in Google Nayusi, R-A-N-M. Black love is a cure for the black nation, family, so let's get it. Without that ingredient, what really do we have? Black love is a cure for the black nation, so let's get it.